Today it's time for some French onion soup. And I'm going to make 1 quart of soup. And that's going to take about 1.5 pounds of sliced onions. This is close to 1.5 pounds. You can use 1 pound if you prefer. You can add more if you like, whatever works best for you. You can use whatever onions you prefer. This is a sweet onion. It's the brand name is Mayan. It comes from Peru. This is just a regular, typical onion. This is a yellow onion. You can find it at the grocery store. Just slice them however you feel best, so that it will fit onto a spoon easily. You'll probably want them somewhat wide there, at least 1/4 of an inch. Close to 1/2 inch. Something like that. Whatever works good for you. Whatever you think is the best size. Once you get the onions ready to go, get a decent sized pot or pan that the onions can fit in very easily. And I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons of butter here. Doesn't have to be exact. It's pretty close to work good. Set it to about medium-high heat, and once the butter is just about all melted there, get all the onions in and give it a good stir. Give that about at least 5 minutes, maybe up to 10 minutes. And then once they really get cooking and they get soft, lower the temperature down to about medium-low, to where it's just barely simmering. And I'll show you that in just a second. It's been about 10 minutes, and they've begun to soften up very nicely. So at this point, I'm going to turn the temperature down to a medium-low, to where it's just barely simmering. And every so often, come back and give a little stir and check them, make sure they aren't burning. And this is going to take a minimum of 1 hour. Most likely it's going to take at least 2 hours to get them down to the right color where I want them to be. And if you like them to be really, really dark, it could take you 3 or even up to 4 hours, just depending on how dark you like them. So hang on, I'll show you a couple of steps along the way, and we'll get this going. They've been cooking for right at about an hour now, and they're starting to get a little color. See there, they're getting a little bit of brown on them. So just give them a stir every 10 minutes or whatever, and another hour or thereabouts, and they should be ready to go. As you can see, it's coming along really well. Some people like them to be really, really dark, almost black, and that's fine if you like it that way. However you like them best, this is fine. This is about where I like it. They're about half and half. At this point is where you would add the alcohol if you want to. Most restaurants I worked in, we would use sherry, but you can use Burgundy, white wine, red wine, whatever you have is fine. Whatever you like is fine. Or if you don't want alcohol, just leave it out. Or I'm going to use a little splash, not much, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of red wine vinegar there. Scrape the bottom of the pan now. Get all that onion bits and flavor that's stuck to the bottom of the pan, get that all scraped up. Along with the red wine vinegar, I'm also going to use grape juice instead of alcohol. So just about a quarter of a cup maybe. Turn the heat up a little bit to medium-high or so. Make sure everything is scraped up in the bottom there. And just a little pinch, this is red sea salt from Hawaii. And just regular black pepper. Quarter teaspoon of granulated garlic. I'm going to add 1 quart of water, but I'm just going to add a little bit to start with right here. Again, when I worked in restaurants, we always used a mixture of chicken base and beef base. Gives it a more rounded flavor. If you only have one, just use whichever one you have. Or if you don't like one, just use the one you like. Approximately 1 tablespoon of each. Mix those in really well first. Make sure they're dissolved in there. About 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Then add the rest of the water. And then just bring it up to a boil. And then lower it down to a simmer. I'd say give it at least 10 or 15 minutes before you eat it. Give it a good half an hour to an hour. It'll even be better. While this is finishing up there, generally we top it with croutons. And you can use a little salad croutons if you prefer. Or you can just use some French bread or whatever, and dry it out. Let it dry out. And then I'll put some cheese on that and melt it in the oven. And then put it on the soup to finish it off. So you can use whatever bread you like. Like I say, you can use a little salad croutons if you prefer, or whatever works best for you. Well, it is ready to go. All those yummy looking onions there. I've got some of that toast, and I grated some Gruyere cheese to put on it, melted in the oven now. This is, like I say, is Gruyere, but you can use Swiss, you can use mozzarella, you can use provolone, you can use fontina, you can use almost anything you want. If you use something like cheddar, a really oily cheese, you can use it, but if you melt it too much, it'll start to break down into oil and everything. But, you know, hey, whatever you like is fine. And then there's the cheese croutons right out of the oven. There we go, some homemade French onion soup. Give it a try. It's pretty easy and it's really tasty. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time on Cook and Gobble videos.